Hey gang, and welcome to another episode of NRW Motors. Today we'll be going back to the era of the very first synthesizers and taking a look at an analog icon, the Nissan Skyline 2000 GT. The Skyline, formerly known as the Prince Skyline, dropped the Prince Motor Company nameplate in 1970 and was then only badged as a Nissan. Internally, Nissan gave it the rather cute name of the KGC 10 2000 GTX, but to the fans it was known as the Hakosuka. Hako meaning box, and Suka as an abbreviation of Skyline. It's a boxy Skyline. The 2000 GT is the third generation Skyline to come from the Nissan family tree. This model in particular has an L28 engine. It's a straight 6 3.2 litre from a Datsun 280Z. Chief engineer of the GTR, Shinichiro Sakurai, built the first prototype race car out of post-war Japan, the Prince R380, taking the engine out of the 380 and dropping it into the Skyline to make it a Porsche-beaten race car. In the 60s, well-established race cars like the Porsche 904 were given a run for their money by the GTR, which was essentially a mid-range saloon with a stretched nose. From 1970 onwards, the saloon and the coupe body type of the GTR went racing, and they challenged everyone: Mazda, Toyota, Lotus, and even Porsche, racking up 50 victories by 1972. One of the main rivals at this time was the formidable Mazda RX-3, and it became rotary versus straight 6 to become king of the hill. There are 13 generations of the Skyline to date, but the GTR has now been separated into its own line. Nissan continues to market the Skyline in its luxury sports segment of the industry, while the GTR has become a global icon in its own right.
Nowadays, only a very select few will be able to experience the reality of driving the Hakosuka, but because of its renowned presence in the motoring world, it still to this day appears in top racing video games, including Gran Turismo, Forza and Need for Speed, commanding strong money even in a digital form. Whether it's for street racing or a track weapon, the Hakosuka is a modder's dream. To the untrained eye it may look fairly unassuming, but in the right hands you can make the other drivers very anxious when you roll out your creation. The 70s Skyline was built to hold its own in any regard, from the raucous sound of the straight 6 to the timeless inspiring design. It didn't feature the now iconic round rear lights, but the DNA is still here, featuring an aggressive looking front end, classic Japanese style fender mirrors and a good measure of chrome to finish off some of the lines. Inside, the driving experience is simple but stylish. Black leather and chrome adorn the cockpit with only the most basic driving aids. The whole package is aimed at the enthusiast and lives on through revivals and the long lineage of Nissan's passion.
Let's drive.